Where do I put this at? Right there. Put it over here. Oh, look at that. Whatever. So, how do I see fucking comments? I see them on fucking the show, or G. Bushes, but anyway. I'm going to tell you guys what the problem is in Cleveland. It's very simple. Andrew Berry. You're third. Let me see, scroll. Let me see. It says scroll. I seen it on fucking on G. Bush. That you scroll and you can see the comments. Let me see. Hold up. How do I do this? It's not letting me. But anyway, Andrew Berry in the third round. He drafted. I don't know who it was this year, but last year was Cedric Tillman. The year before that was Alex Wright. The year before that was Anthony Schwartz, and the year before that was Jacob Phillips. Now Jacob Phillips and Anthony Schwartz are out of the league. Alex Wright and Cedric Tillman will probably be out of the league within a year. You don't miss on third round picks. You don't. He can't draft. He's an Ivy League clown. Kevin Stefanski is an Ivy League clown. And the fact that he will not give up play calling is... When they brought in Dorsey, I'll guarantee they had the intention of alleviating some of the everything off of Stefanski. They probably wanted him to call plays. And that's why I believe Stefanski never said he wasn't calling plays until late in the training camp. I think Jimmy Haslam said, listen, I want you to give up play calling. I think Watson probably went to Haslam and said, listen, it ain't working, you know. And Stefanski, he's stubborn. He don't want to give it up. And you know damn well if they told him to give up play calling, he would throw a temper tantrum like a child. Down. It's not working. I'm trying to get the fucking whatever. I can't stand. I was getting comments on whatever. But so you got a coach that has ruined Watson. Watson's a shot player. This guy was a dominant force when he came to Cleveland. He didn't play for 2 years, but make no mistake about it. The reason he's a ruined player is very easy. Kevin Stefanski has turned him into a pocket quarterback. He's forced him. You notice Deshaun don't even look to break the pocket and run anymore. Stefanski has it ingrained in his mind so much you're a pocket quarterback. You're going to sit in the pocket. You're going to throw dimes. And that's not Watson. You can see that's not Watson. So I know Stefanski's thinking. He's like, he was already a great quarterback. Stefanski's like, I'll make him a superstar. God, do I hate this guy. I'm not going to lie to you. If he got stage 4, I'd celebrate. I can't stand him. I hate him more than anything because I just can't stand. I knew when they hired Stefanski. I told every Browns fan, if you looked at what he did against the 49ers in that playoff game, it was embarrassing. I think they had like 27 yards offense against the 49ers. This guy is not a football coach. He's not even he's Kylie Bronson with the fucking headset. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not an offensive coordinator. He knows one style of play, and we run the same plays over and over, and he just does everything. His unit had all the penalties today. The defense didn't have any penalties. In key situations, they shoot themselves in the foot. And the problem with Cleveland is without Bill Callahan or Harry Callahan, whatever the fuck his name is, you're seeing how bad of a coach Stefanski is. Because Bill Callahan shielded Stefanski. He made Stefanski look good with his offensive line coach. And if you notice, Stefanski don't give a fuck about nothing but that play sheet. That's all he gives a fuck about. He doesn't care about the Cleveland Browns. If you took away play calling, he would throw a temper tantrum, guaranteed. It's just facts. The guy only cares about that fucking... I hate him. I can't stand this motherfucker. So, and you have receivers in Cleveland that can't get separation. We have the worst receivers in football. Amari Cooper's horrible. I see someone talking about we're getting a third-round pick. We ain't getting no third-round pick from Amari Cooper. We're lucky to get a fifth for him. He's fucking horrible. Why do you think the Cowboys got rid of him? I mean, he played good with Flacco last year, but this year he's terrible. Even when Watson hits him with a good throw, he can't catch it. Jerry Jeudy, I believe he can be good, but not for the money they signed him to. I seen Jack Conklin. The line didn't play bad today. The line did not play bad today. The problem with Watson is he's confused before the snap. He's just confused. He's not playing the game free like he used to. He's thinking too much, and that's on the coach. The coach refuses. He's so hard-headed. He refuses to simplify this game for Watson. He refuses to. I mean, I'm saying, Watson, he sucks. I would have put Jameis Winston in. I would have. But I think Stefanski's, it's a challenge for him to get Watson good. I think he's trying to get Watson in his way. It's just like a couple years ago when they were trying to win their way instead of winning the NFL way. Remember when they thought they didn't need defensive tackles? Like, oh, we don't need defensive tackles. We'll just get quick linebackers, and that backfired because the Falcons ran all over them. You don't understand with these Ivy League nerds. They think they're smarter than everybody. And Podesta, why the fuck is he still in Cleveland? He's the main. He's like the biggest cancer cell there. And Barry and Stefanski are other cells. And they're all just hovering around that cancer cell. And Jimmy Haslam's being inflicted with it. And I think he's brainwashed because Jimmy Haslam has to be livid right now. His organization, the Cleveland Browns, who, by the way, Nick Carnes and that fat fucking piece of shit Chops, that fucking slob who runs a space, and if you disagree with him, he blocks you. They thought the Browns were going to the Super Bowl this year. It's actually hilarious watching how bad the Browns are right now. I don't even get mad when they lose. I don't even care anymore. In fact, like I say, I was glad the Ravens won. I still would like to see the Steelers lose. The Bengals, I kind of want them to lose, so they'll be 1-5. We'll have 1-5 teams the next week, but they're going to win tonight. I don't care anymore. And that's because of Kevin Stefanski and these Ivy League clowns. Let me see. Scroll down. Just scroll down. Nothing. Why the fuck did I get no comments? When I did it on G. Bush, they came up. But anyway, I don't even care anymore. I don't get mad no more. I get mad right now, but I don't get mad like when the Browns. I just don't get mad. I used to get some of the best rages ever. I don't care no more. These Ivy League nerds, and I can't stand them. What the fuck does he do? What the fuck does he do? He's not even a good baseball guy. And this jackass has them put baseball analytic nerds in charge of his organization. And Andrew Berry, look at his draft picks. They're horrible. That's why if I was running the Browns right now, listen, lose out. Well, if you keep Stefanski, you'll lose the rest of it. You're not going to win any more games with him coaching. You'll lose out. You'll get the first pick in the draft. I would pick Shedeur Sanders. I hate him. I can't stand the kid, but I got to tell you, he's the best quarterback I've seen in college. I believe, and I think Deion's a horrible coach, but if that's what it takes to get him here to sign, you might have to sign Deion as a coach. You might have to. Hey, you'd be on TV every week. It'd be a clown show, but Shedeur is a good player. I mean, his dad is a clown, but Shedeur is actually a talented player. The Browns need him. Or, I was saying you get rid of Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Okosor, or whatever, but I do believe it could be fixed with a regular coach. You get an NFL guys in here, and you have to get a football GM here. You cannot let this guy butcher any more drafts. You cannot let Andrew Berry butcher any fucking drafts. If he picks any players this up-and-coming draft, it's going to be another wasted class. So they got to get good players, a good GM. Like I said, I'd rather have Shedeur. I don't want his dad, but if that's what it takes, because I do have a feeling if they keep Stefanski and he tries to draft Shedeur, he's going to refuse to play here. Because Deion's going to be like, I don't want him playing for that clown. Deion ain't no dumbass. He knows Stefanski's a clown. So you got to get a football coach in there. And like I say, if worse comes to worse is Deion, you got to take him because we got to get Shedeur. We're getting the first pick in the draft. There's no ways around it. And we are a quarterback away and a nice wide receiver piece in the draft. The defense is good. I don't even blame the defense today. They played good. They didn't have any penalties. They gave up, 14 points? 7. You can't blame the defense. And they're on the field. And as a defensive player, I was a Hall of Fame defensive player, and I played on some Jets team that were horrible. When Kenny O'Brien at one time was so bad, we knew he wasn't a scorer. And if we didn't get the team 10 points, we were defeated mentally. But we still played. So when you're a defensive player and your team offensively sucks, that wears on you. So I understand these defensive players having some lapses on the game. The Browns' defense is still good. They just need a quarterback, and they have to have a coach. Now, I do believe they can get a coach in that can fix it, like Bill O'Brien. I think he can get Watson back on track. I do. But that's too easy for Jimmy Haslam to make a move like that. He's a dumbass. But I would bring Bill O'Brien in, and I would draft Shedeur Sanders because Watson's going to be gone after, next year anyway, or the year after, whatever. So what you have is Bill O'Brien. You have Deshaun Watson. He gets him back on track. Or he doesn't get him back on track. You get Shedeur Sanders. But this team can compete next year with Shedeur Sanders. It can. There's no doubt about it. You just need a real football coach. This guy here, Stefanski, like I said, if you look at it, he's not a football coach. He's Callie Bronson with the headset. He's not deserving to be a head coach. In fact, I think if they gave him a choice right now, you're going to be the play caller for the next 5 years or the head coach for the next 5 years, and you can't call plays. He would definitely take the guy calling plays and not the head coach. He would. He just loves calling plays. I remember Didi King of Ball said that. I seen it was years ago. She said he just loves calling plays. It's a challenge to him. That's why he won't give it up. Those Ivy League nerds are mentally ill. And this guy's killing the team. And the media, I'll guarantee you Nick Sirianni caught more heat after a win than the Kevin Stefanski caught after his team, his unit, offense, blew the game. The false starts on a last drive, it was just embarrassing. I mean, it's just, and then every time we get in the red zone, we go backwards. It's the most undisciplined fucking team ever. I'm so fucking tired of it because I've known the problem since week 1 or since year 1 with this clown. And you get these nerds in football, Gen Z nerds. Oh, he's a fucking coach of the year. 2-time coach of the year, Jason fat-faced fucking Lloyd. Oh, if they fire him, he's going to get a head coaching job. He ain't getting no head coaching job ever again. There's nobody going to hire Kevin Stefanski again. Trust me. I'll guarantee you that. He might get a position coach job, but he ain't getting no offensive coordinating job. They're going to look at the Browns offense since he took over the Browns play calling years ago. It's like, it's never been higher than 14. I think that was last year with Joe Flacco. The Browns offense, I don't know why people think the Browns offense was good years. They haven't been good. So he's not getting another job. They're going to look at what he did in Cleveland. They're going to be like, oh my God, this guy ruined Deshaun Watson. I wish they would cut Watson because I guarantee if Miami picked him up with those players down there and Mike McDaniel not being a great coach, but I guarantee he's not a hard-headed jackass like Stefanski, he'll put him in a situation that he's comfortable with, and Watson will play backyard football. He'll look good again, and Haslam will probably be like, why didn't that happen in Cleveland? I'll tell you why it didn't happen. You got a headstrong egomaniac in Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski's a cancer. Listen, these Ivy League people are cancers. Andrew Berry's the worst GM in football. He's horrible. I've never seen a guy with less picks. Every pick he makes is garbage. And just go look at all the drafts, all the players he passed up on, and you want to give this guy picks next year to waste? And I heard someone say that Andrew Berry wanted to make this trade for Watson. There's no way. There's no way these Ivy League clowns wanted to make that trade. That's why Berry likes to collect all these late-round picks. He wants to be the GM that finds a gem in late-round picks where there's no pressure on him. If he finds a guy that's great, turns out to be great, he looks like a genius. If he finds a guy that's no good, whatever, it's not a big deal because it's a fifth-round pick. That's what Berry is. He wants to collect all these draft picks. He didn't want Watson. That was all Jimmy Haslam. But Stefanski obviously said, when he went down there with them, I can get this guy to look good in Cleveland. And he tried making him a pocket quarterback game manager, basically, like Kirk Cousins was his year with Stefanski, the year that Stephon Diggs wanted out of Cleveland. So we got a coach that's just fucking. He said, I hate him. Honestly, I wish he'd get Gleason. I wish he'd fucking get Gleason. I would fucking love it because I got an owner that won't fire him. I got an owner that keeps a baseball nerd for some reason. Paul DePodesta in Cleveland. I have no fucking clue why this guy's in Cleveland. Also, the Cleveland Indians are the best organization in Cleveland. They're run professionally. The owner doesn't meddle. They don't pay people but Antonucci, whatever. I don't even follow baseball. But I can tell you right now, they got good players. And they got a good manager. So the Browns' problem is the head coach. He ruined the quarterback. And that just filtered all the way down to the team. You can tell Amari Cooper wants out. So you know what? If he wants out, trade him. Get a fifth-round pick for him. Just get rid of him. Problem is, your third-round pick, Cedric Tillman, is fucking horrible. Now, I know Randy Moss, which was a camp from Canada account, said that Cedric Tillman was a steal of the draft. Yeah. Okay, that was us. That wasn't Randy Moss. But Cedric Tillman sucks. That's the problem. We don't have a receiver to take his place because Andrew Berry can't draft. Trevor knows Andrew Berry has to trade for these receivers and then overpay him. He overpaid all these guys. He signed Conklin to an extension when he was injured. Andrew Berry's fucking terrible. So the Browns today, they could have won that game. The defense played well enough to win. And when they got down to red zone, how about Stefanski was going for it? I'm like, kick the fucking field goal. Your defense is playing well. You'll get the ball back, but they never did get the ball back. But he's just a retard. He's a fucking retard. I remember that fat-faced slob, Jason Lloyd, said, Kevin's not an egomaniac. It's like they all have it. They're all apologists for Kevin. There's something going on in Cleveland. He must have came out and said, you guys can't question me or I won't do interviews with you because Tony Grossi, one of the biggest clowns in the media, beat writer, he had a chance to ask the fans. You know what his question was? Did Myles Garrett block really spark the team? Yeah, no shit, dumbass. Then he asked another dumb question. I forget it was. He's a pussy. None of these guys will ask Stefanski. I'd like to say, hey, Kevin, is the problem your play call or is it your fucking quarterback? I'd love to see what he'd say. If he was a Philadelphia Eagles coach, them motherfuckers would be massacring Stefanski. But no, you Cleveland media are fucking retards. Mary Kay Cabot. Oh, does Michelle like the hearts I sent her in the mail? It's just fucking retarded. So Jimmy Haslam obviously don't care about Cleveland. He doesn't. Because there's no owner that would sit here. Unless he's the guy that made this deal and he's forcing them guys to play. Like I said, Stefanski, he has no balls. He agreed to take his game plans to Paul DePodesta. I mean, who takes their game plan to some GM or baseball fucking analytic nerve? nerd. You think Mike Vrabel, if Mike Vrabel, they probably asked Mike Vrabel, he's like, I'm not giving my game plan to that fucking nerd. You think Bill Belichick would bring it, they'd kick him out. Just like when John Dorsey came and clowned the fuck out of Depot Desta. I heard the stories about when Dorsey came, they used to clown Depot Desta. And that lasted, 1 year after he hired Kitchens, they got rid of Dorsey. Could you imagine if they kept Dorsey, he'd admit his, see, I think Dorsey did that because he wanted to get rid of Depot. Well, Depot wanted to hire Stefanski. Could you imagine we kept Dorsey right now, how much better we'd be? Oh, my God. Even Freddie Kitchens was better than Stefanski. You Browns fans that think Stefanski's a great coach because of the 2 Coach of the Years. One was in the COVID season. He sat at home while the Browns won the playoff game. Then he came back the following week with 7.5 minutes left. He shut the offense down. He's fucking horrible. And last year was Joe Flacco. Do you remember the Browns? I think they were 7-5 with horrible quarterback play by P.J. Walker and DTR. And then Joe Flacco saved the fucking season because he ran his offense his whole career. So, yeah, Stefanski's horrible. He's not a good coach. And the Cleveland Browns are, they're an embarrassment. And you thought they were embarrassed today? Wait till you see next week against Cincinnati. You might see some infighting in that defense. They might go off because they're going to be on the field the whole game. Unless Deshaun Watson goes into Haslam's office and, listen, give me Bill O'Brien. Let him call plays. I don't care what you do with Stefanski, but keeping them the fuck away from me. That's the only chance we have. So, Deshaun, if you're on my Pritchard account or my Bickerstaff account, that's another thing to you Browns fans are retards. You actually think Deshaun Watson's tweeting at half. Those are my accounts. Not my literal accounts, but people in my group's accounts. All right? There's 2 guys running those accounts right now. They're not Deshaun Watson, but you Browns fans are so fucking retarded. You actually believe Deshaun Watson is running those accounts. That is how dumb Browns fans are. They think he's a guy who's got $400 million is actually worried at halftime on his phone tweeting about the guy don't give a fuck. He's got so much fucking money, but that's not the fucking dumb you Browns fans are. I gotta say, couldn't happen to a nicer... Those bitches looking at me because I'm in the car. Couldn't happen to a nicer fan base. Nick Carnes and that Pete Chop slob. It actually makes me love seeing the Browns this bad. It really does. Because you had Nick Carnes is the fucking worst Browns fan you ever see. He runs his mouth and he plays victim when the Browns are terrible. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I run my mouth. I can listen if I could actually be a Browns. I'm a Browns fan, but they suck, so I went to the Ravens. You know why I went to the Ravens? From 79 to 95, that was my team. But I could actually root for the Browns right now if they had a real head coach and they were losing. Like, say they had Hugh Jackson. I still followed them when they had Hugh Jackson. I didn't give a fuck they were losing. I was pissed, but whatever. I could literally root for the Browns right now and make a Steeler fan or Bengal or whatever, Raven fan feel like they're their inferior team. That's the ability I have. But I refuse to support this franchise anymore until they get rid of this Ivy League clown show. They have to get rid of these Ivy League clowns. I don't care who they bring in as head coach. I don't care if it's Pat Shurmur again, whatever. But you can't have these Ivy League clowns, Bolt, Depot Desta, Barry, and Stefanski, and Callie Bronson. I know why she has a job. I told you, because of Stefanski. There's no doubt in my mind they're somehow related. Philadelphia grandfather or godfather, and now Stefanski's from Philadelphia. Yeah, they're related. And why the fuck would you hire some fucking dyke as a wide receiver coach over guys who played the game before? I mean, Jarvis Landry would have been great in that position. Josh Cribbs would have been great in that position. But you hired Callie Bronson? What does she bring to the table? What? Because she's a social justice warrior who got drunk and almost killed people in a drunken driving ticket? I mean, what does she bring to the fucking table? I mean, is this the most backwards organization ever? They hire a woman to be a receivers coach. Oh, it's a DEI or it's whatever. It's fucking retarded. So, in closing, next week's going to get ugly. It's going to be real ugly as a Browns fan. Because the Bengals, we own them. Not anymore. Not until we get Mike. I would love to see them fire Stefanski, but I want that first pick in the draft. And I feel if we get Mike Vrabel, we could probably turn it around, go maybe 9-8. We ain't going to make the playoffs. So you might as well keep Stefanski the rest of the year, get the first pick in the draft, then fire him as soon as the season's over. Because I do want them. I want that first pick. I want to get Shedeur Sanders. I tell you, right, I can't stand that kid. I loathe him. But he is a good player. See, that's the difference. I can distinguish. Like Robert De Niro, biggest clown in the world. Great actor. But he's got TDS. I can distinguish how great of an actor he is to how much of a pussy he is in real life. TDS. So, yeah, I want Shedeur Sanders. I can't stand him. I hate his dad. I think his dad's a fucking clown. He's the worst coach in football. In fact, he's an upgrade over Stefanski. If that's what it needs to get Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland, unless there's another quarterback prospect that's as good as Shedeur, I don't know how to watch college football. Like I say, I watched that game last night, Ohio State, and if Ohio State played Oregon 10 times at Oregon, Ohio State win 9 times. If they had Urban Meyer, they'd win 10 times. Ohio State should have won that game yesterday, and they played terrible. But I'm not really like a big Ohio State fan. I wanted them to win, but I'm not one of these psychotic the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. I don't why people get so emotional over it. I don't like the fact that Michigan beat us the last 3 years, but like I say, 3 wins in 3 decades means nothing. It's not a rivalry. Plus, they cheated. So I'm not one of those Ohio State fans that goes crazy when Michigan wins. Now, I will say this. We're going to destroy them this year. That's a fact. It's not even going to be a contest. As bad as Ryan Day is, Ohio State will beat them by 30. But Ohio State played terrible yesterday. They should have won that game. Problem is, Ryan Day is 1-7 against top 5 teams. So if you're a Buckeye fan, that might scare you. Because this guy has problems against good competition. Now, they got to go to fucking Penn State, Pedo State University, by the way. I'll never give that team a pass. When Joe Pa shit himself running off the field about 10 years ago, and plus he allowed Jerry Sandusky, or Guy Beam, or whatever his name is, Jerry Sandusky, to do what he did over there. Also, these 2 Costco slobs, for crying out loud. Why the fuck do we make the biggest degenerates in the world famous? I mean, this guy's obviously a fat fucking slob. His son's a fat fucking slob. He forced his son to gorge all this unhealthy food, to say boom, 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 and now they're making millions of dollars because they're retarded. I mean, there's a reason this guy trolled around in obscurity for fucking 2 decades, right, until Incel Talk came. This guy has no talent whatsoever, but Gen Z made him famous. It's just like that Hawk Tuah clown. It's just amazing, the society we live in. I don't know. I was talking about the Browns. How the fuck am I getting over here? But anyway, Browns fans, it's going to get ugly next week. So I want them to keep Stefanski the rest of the year because I want the first pick in the draft. And I feel if we hire Variable, he can turn it around. We're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, we're 1-5. We'd have to go to finish 10-7. We'd have to go 9-2, and that's not going to happen.